What's going on, SC430 community? My name is Henry. Today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to do an SC430 mods install. It's going to be the Navigation Conversion Kit 4.0 with the backup camera. You guys have already seen I have made a video on the 3.5 version. It's basically the same process, start to finish, besides maybe one key part of the uninstall/reinstall process. So as you guys know, I do run the customer support side of SC430 mods, and I still get a lot of questions about the 4.0 conversion kit on how to uninstall it, reinstall it, and things like that. So I'll show you how to do that. So basically, before you even think about getting this product, keep in mind that it's partially a service. It's not just a brand new screen. You don't just get a brand new screen and install it right away like any other product you would buy from the website. Because I get a lot of those emails from people asking where their product is on the NAV 4.0 without actually reading the description of the website of that you have to ship your OEM unit to Calvin. He will replace the screen, modify the software, and then send it back to you, and then you put it back in. So keep that in mind. When you're buying this service, you have to take out your own navigation unit and send it to Calvin. So this is how the process works. You make the purchase online, right? You buy the navigation kit 4.0. And if you don't have it already, you also purchase the Bluetooth mod that we offer. You have to get that, otherwise the navigation screen is just going to be a display. There won't be any audio coming out of it. You need the Bluetooth so you can have the Bluetooth mod sending the audio through the radio, right? And then you use the navigation system for the display for the backup camera and the CarPlay feature. So you're basically using both of those hand in hand. So I'll explain that, how it actually works when we put it in. But keep that in mind. So then, once you make the purchase, you'll get an email from Calvin's email, cma@sc430mods.com. That's not me. It's an automated email. There will be times where he will send you an email specifically from him, but a lot of the times it's going to be automated. It's going to come with the label. That label is what you're going to use to ship your navigation unit to Calvin for it to get modified, processed, whatever, and then sent back. So keep that in mind. That's very important because a lot of people screw that up and start complaining to me, where is my product? It's been months. And it's like, well, the reason why you haven't gotten it is because you never sent Calvin anything to begin with. So then people end up just getting a refund, and then people get upset. So make sure you read the product description before you make the purchase. It's very important because there is times where people will buy it, do the whole thing, and then they don't know how to install it, or they don't have anybody to install it, so then they get stuck. So make sure you have someone that can install it. You could show them these videos and they'll figure it out. If they can't figure it out, you need to go to a different mechanic because they suck. Because a lot of the mechanics don't know how to work on an SC430 and they break 90% of the things. If you've seen my other videos, you see me point it out before I even touch anything in the car that someone else has touched it and screwed up. So basically, now once you make that purchase, it's time to remove the navigation unit out, right? You work your way up from the heated control seats, right? Then the cup holder, the shift knob, the ashtray, the climate control system, the radio, the vents on the sides, and then you take the navigation unit out. So then once you take the navigation unit out, you then disassemble the navigation unit partially, and then you would just ship that as is straight to Calvin, and he will modify it for you. And then you get it back, reassemble it back into the housing of the OEM navigation unit, and then you just put everything back in, and then obviously add the camera. So the difference from the 3.5 version was you would actually get a screen that replaces the whole thing. And then the original motherboard of the OEM navigation unit, you would hide behind the cluster. So that's the big difference. You don't have to do all that cluster and taking out the motherboard itself nonsense, because it is a little bit risky and it's a little bit unnecessary. So and plus the design, even with the replacement screen from the 3.5, there is still a gap in between, so you could tell that, you know, it doesn't fill up the whole space all the way, so some of that heat kind of comes out, and because it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. So 4.0 is the final iteration of that navigation unit, hopefully, so it'll look pretty much entirely OEM until you turn that screen on and you'll be like, oh, it has CarPlay in it. So now that I got that out of the way, if you need any assistance, you need to contact myself, whether it's at howtosc430@gmail.com, which is this YouTube channel, or if you want specifically customer support for the product itself, whether it's a return or getting an update on where your product is, that's when you would contact me again, but through the other email, which is help@sc430mods.com. Do not contact the CMA at sc430mods.com. That is Calvin's email. Most of those are automated, and it'll just push back an email to you to contact me instead. If you keep emailing Calvin, he's not going to answer, pretty much ever. You need to make sure it goes to me. Otherwise, you'll never get your help. You'll never get your refund if you want a refund, or if you're missing a part, you're never going to get your missing part, and you're just going to be throwing money away. So make sure your money's worth it, and you hit me up in a timely fashion. Keep in mind, it may take a while for either me to respond or for Calvin to issue you a replacement or the refund or whatever the action is needed. Because for me, as the customer support, I just keep track of it so I can send it over to him, and then he does it, because I don't do anything within the company at all. I just help with customer support and figuring out everybody's issues. That is it. I don't do anything else. So keep that in mind. Okay, so now let's get into business. For tools, we're going to need a 10mm socket and ratchet. Have a small extension on it just because of the reach. I prefer having an extension. It just makes it a little bit easier. You're gonna need a pick of some kind and a Phillips head screwdriver. Don't think we're gonna need really much of that, but we do need to use the Phillips head screwdriver for a couple screws. Other than that, I believe that would be it pretty much. We will be installing the Bluetooth mod for this SC430 because it's going to be in a 2006 SC430 for a customer. So I'll be putting that in for him, so he's getting a bunch of stuff as well. So we'll see some mix and matching footage here and there. Since I already did a very detailed, super long video of the uninstall and reinstall process in the NAV 3.5, this one I'm gonna try to cut it short and just show you the key parts coming out. So hopefully the video ends up not being too long. I'm sure it'll be pretty long, but I'll do my best. But otherwise, other than that, let's get started. Alrighty, so now that we are in the customer's SC430, we're gonna show you how to take that navigation out for disassembly so we can ship it to Calvin to get a new screen for a higher resolution, and then get it modified so it's upgraded to the CarPlay system instead of the original old school system that's outdated. So in NAV 3.5, we did originally have to take everything out, but I realized that now we don't really necessarily have to do that, just because, let's say this is your daily car, and while you're waiting for the NAV to get modified, you still want to drive your car, right? You can just pretty much take the NAV system out, put the vents back in if you really need to, and then put this back in, and then you could just go about your day with this just being nothing. So not a big deal, but since this is the customer's car, he's leaving it with me until, you know, I finish it anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. But we're going to be showing you how to do it the quicker way compared to the 3.5 version. So we're going to get started. We're going to manually move by hand this radio cover. We're going to take the climate control system out. We're also going to move this up a little bit just so we have some clearance for our hand. So, there you go. On the back, we want to unplug those 3 cords. So now we need to take both vents out. So from here, there's going to be a 10 mil here, Phillips head here, Phillips head up here, and then a 10 mil there. So now that it's unbolted and unscrewed, you want to basically bring it down and then out, but you want to make sure you can get over this on those little tabs, otherwise you won't be able to get it out. Just so you see that little metal bar that shows up, and then you'll see that now I'm kind of stuck on the tabs here. Then that's when you want to lift it up just a little bit just to get over it, and then go back down and then pull it straight out, and then it should just slowly come out. With everything, you'll see I got caught again because of that metal bracket in the back is now caught on that yellow tab on both sides. So lift it up again over that. And then back down, then you'll be able to clear it. So now we have the navigation unit out. Again, the cords in the back, I'm gonna have to take those out. So we'll take that out right now. So it's just going to be the 2 cords, the black and then a white one. So this is the whole navigation unit. So now we have to take this apart. So keep in mind, since this is a 2nd gen navigation unit, there's going to be 2 metal rebars here. On the 1st generation, I see there's only the one up at the front, but it'll look pretty much identical. So now we can bring this to a bench and start disassembling this as much as we need to. Alright, so now to get down to business, to taking this apart to prepare to ship to Calvin. So we're going to get started. We need to take the actual navigation system out of this thing. So we're going to start with the little aluminum rebar that holds it in place. So there's going to be, looks like 2 screws on both sides. So I'll just show you this side. You don't want to lose these really tiny screws. There's going to be quite a bit of them, so keep that in mind. So then you can just take this guy out. You may have to pull it away, and that comes out. Put that to the side. I'm going to do the same thing with this rebar here. So 2 on this side, 2 on the other side. Again, the 1st generation does not have this one specifically, so don't worry about this part. So then lift this guy out, put that to the side. So now basically we need to take the side cover off. So it's going to be different on both sides, but the concept is the same, whether it's the 1st generation or 2nd generation. If you're curious to know what the part numbers are, they're right here. But we're going to basically take all the silver screws that attach to the side of the navigation unit. So you can see there's 2 down here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then basically it should pop out. And then for the other side, it may be a little bit similar. 1 here, 2 here, 2 here, and then there's an extra one right here, which is the ground wire of the navigation unit. So we're gonna have to take that extra one off as well. So let's do that. So then now this cover will come right off. That. Pay attention to the grooves in here and the grease. That's what's for the actual door panel itself, as you can see. So it can move and glide on the track properly. So keep that in mind. Make sure you remember which side is what. So I think it should say it on here somewhere. Typically most of the Toyota parts will tell you what side goes to what, but they both might be different, so just keep in mind. So the label is going to be the left side of the unit when the unit is facing me. Okay, so then we take this guy out. Again, the grooves and the grease, make sure there's grease in there. If not, add some if you happen to have any. So now we can see, the navigation unit itself without the cover. So we're going to move this guy back out if it isn't moved back already for you, so that it's just the navigation unit. So you should be able to just lift this and you'll be able to see there's cords on the back. But to get to that, you need to unscrew the tilt function. So this is where the arm is that connects to the nav that makes it, tilt forward and backward. So keep in mind that with this upgrade, if your tilt function doesn't work now with the OEM unit, it's not going to work with the 4.0 conversion one. Alright, so keep in mind of that. So, because my navigation unit personally in my SC, they don't work. The tilt function doesn't work. So when I made the 3.5 conversion kit mod, that tilt function did not work with the upgrade. We should be able to lift this guy out a little bit to get some space to see on this side. So I'll flip it over. We'll be able to see now the screws that hold basically the cover for the harness itself. So we'll take those out. There's going to be 4 of them. So then you should be able to just take that cover off. I know some of I think maybe it's the first generation only, but this piece basically comes off like a clip, so you wouldn't have to unscrew everything. But again, it's different across the first generation, second generation, but concept is the same. So now you see the cables here, right? So we're gonna unplug those. So there's 3 here on the second gen. There may be more. I think there's 4 on the first gen, but I don't know. So now we can basically get this cover and put it to the side for now. Alright, so I've contacted Calvin, and it appears that it's just the navigation unit itself. You just need to take the cover off. So I put the pieces back on. So obviously, in our case, all we had to do was unplug this, unscrew that, right? So that it's just the OEM navigation unit itself. So we're going to send it like this. Make sure when you package it, make sure you package it securely. Bubble wrap, wrapping paper, whatever it is, just to fill up the box as much as it can. So if there's no impact force that could potentially happen, that may damage anything. Because keep in mind that this cover bezel is plastic, very thin plastic, so these can break very, very easily. And then obviously the screen, we don't want to unintentionally damage that. There were just fingerprints on it from when I took it out. I already had fingerprints, but just keep in mind what it looks like before you end up shipping it. So now for the screw count, so you know how many you have compared to mine. So you got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black screws. And we have about 17 silver screws. So again, it may be different for the first generation compared to the second generation SC430s, because those the 2002 to 2005 SC430 OEM navigation units are slightly different compared to the 2006 to 2010. So keep that in mind. This is a second gen one, so 17 silver, 6 black. It may be different for the first gen, I'm not sure. But the concept is the same. We're going to be shipping out just this guy on its own. So I'm going to ship this out with the label that was provided and see how long it takes to get the upgrade, and then we will install the navigation conversion kit. Alrighty, so time has passed. We have the nav coming back pretty soon, in a couple days, I'd assume. That's been modified, and then we'll get the rest of the kit. I'll show you what's in it. If you're switching to the 3.5 version, or you're switching from the 3.5 version to the 4.0, there's literally no difference. If anything, you left the wiring in your car, all you do is plug and play again. But for the new people, it's going to come with a wiring harness, and then a wiring harness for the backup camera itself, and then obviously the modified nav unit. So you'll get to put that all back together. But in the meantime, since I'm still waiting a couple days for it, we can get started by ripping out basically a good chunk of the interior, just so we can basically prep for installation for when the rest of the kit comes in. So if I didn't mention already, the tools, we're going to need 10mm socket and ratchet, prying tools to get plastic fasteners out and unplugging things, a blade. I'll explain why, but you're not going to be cutting a lot, so it's not a big deal. Phillips head screwdriver maybe. Yeah, let's get started by ripping some stuff out now.
I'm running on diesel, baby, I'm active. Shawty wanna know what's happening. Baby, no cap, I'm captain. Honey, no rings on me, ain't bagging. Diesel, feeling I'm massive. I feeling like Shaq, I'm shacking. Bad little bitch, she savage. Hit it on top all night, I'm damaged. Bomb, 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 yeah, bomb, 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 bomb. Feeling I'm massive. Feeling like bomb, 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 bomb.
I just wait a while, wait a while, wait a while. I just wait a while, wait a while, wait a while. I just wanna wait a while, wait a while, wait a while. I just wanna wait a while, wait a while, wait a while. I just wanna.
I'm running on diesel, baby, I'm active. Shawty wanna know what's happening. Baby, no cap, I'm captain. Honey, no rings on me, ain't bagging. Diesel, feeling I'm massive. I feeling like Shaq, I'm shacking. That little bitch, she savage. Hit it on top all night, I'm damaged. Bomb, 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 yeah, bomb, 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 bomb. Feeling I'm massive. Feeling like bomb, 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 bomb. Dip, slide, when I wanna dive. Hit it to the rhythm all day and night. Blazing the vibe, ain't no wasting the time. Gotta shoot my shot till I get what I like. Shawty really wanna fuck and I'm on one. Little homie looking bad, never got none. When the pop song, girl go pop off. Mommy got that beat, who can't go.
I just I just wait a while, wait a while, wait a while. I just wait a while, wait a while.
What's going on, SC430 community? It's been about 2 weeks, 2 weeks exactly actually. Now that, wait, what day is it today? Tuesday? Yeah, so it's been about 2 weeks. Finally got the nav back from Calvin, getting modified. So what you're going to get is obviously the instructions for it. It's usually just going to be a label for you to basically refer to, I'm assuming, Calvin's video, and it doesn't link to this one or the 3.5 version that I have made. But you're not going to need that because you have this. But we're going to get started with what you're going to get. So you're going to get the rest of the kit. So it may not be the same box, but in here you're going to be getting this cable. It's a connector. It's literally just one wire. This is for the backup camera. So we'll get that. Obviously, you're going to get this wiring harness. It's going to look like a cigarette lighter connector. This is basically to split the power from the cigarette lighter to power up the nav unit. We'll be using this guy. So you basically will be splitting that cigarette lighter, so you have technically two, but we'll be using that. And then we have this guy. It's a bunch of wire. You're gonna have an aux connector, and then this special connector, and then you're gonna have a stripped red wire here. So, and then of course we have the actual camera itself. So that's what the kit's gonna come with. And then of course you're obviously gonna get your nav back, the original nav back that's modified. So when you get it, you're gonna see you have a brand new screen that's replaced in the nav. And then you're gonna see two foreign wiring that's coming out of the nav itself. This is what is being modified by Calvin. So here's that cigarette adapter for power. And then this cable is the aux for the backup camera. So we're gonna get started by basically putting this nav back onto the, the frame and the cover to actually have, the door panel working with it. So we're gonna get started by doing that. So start by flipping it over, and then we are going to plug it in like we've done before, right, with the the cover. It's pretty much all plug and play here. So we're gonna get started by just basically, start by plugging this in, and then remember we had a cover on it, so we're gonna put the cover back on. There's no reason to tighten these super tight, so just make sure it's nice and snug. So there, so now those four are in. Now we're gonna flip it back over, and we are going to feed these two new wires that we have into the back hole that's right here. So untangle it if you need to. Then when you want to place it, when you're placing it in here, make sure you get that tilt function out, up and out, because it is spring loaded. So I am lifting it up right now. So I had to move this up because it's spring loaded, so it's going to force its way down. So you just got to lift it up when you're putting the NAV in here, line it up, and then put the screws in. Those two screws I just put in. So now we can put the side of the frame on. Obviously you want to light it up, right? So there's these little slits at the bottom here on the side. The first generation one has one in the back, I believe, as well. And you'll just see there's some tabs that stick out. That's where it would end up going. So I'm pretty sure the first generation SC43s have it in the back as well. But when we put this in, we also want to make sure the little knobs here on the door, so that back one goes on the top track, right? So this one would go into this top track, this bottom one would go into this bottom track right here. So make sure you pop it in place when you're putting this back on. Doesn't have to be perfect now, but at least set yourself up so that it does go in when you put the other side in. So we're gonna put just one screw in just to hold it in place so I can line up everything else. Hard to tell on camera, but I basically kind of, since I didn't, put all the screws in, I had enough room to just bend it a little bit just to, make sure that this back knob is on the top track and then the front knob's on the bottom track. Same thing on this side. Only difference is we have the ground wire, so make sure you feed that through there. And then so now with just those two in, we can do a quick test to make sure that the door is on the track properly, just by pushing it a little bit. Covers up when it needs to cover up, comes up on the track, no problem. So now we can basically screw everything back in. So I'm gonna start with this ground wire because a lot of people get confused on what to do with this. That goes on to right here. So now, as you remember, we have brackets that go on here. So again, the second gen has two, the first gen has one. This is what the second gen has one in the back. So I'll show you that from the side. So when you put it on here, it should just slide right on, and it should like pop in place. Yep, like that. Holes should line up, and then So then this is the bracket that all the SCs have. So make sure you put it the right way. The metal frame with the hole is going to be up against this plastic. So when you slide it in, it'll pop right in. So just so that you guys are aware, see there's a little slit that it goes into. So make sure it slides in between, because it should line up completely flush and stop at this little black tab here. There you have it. That's what it looks like. So when we put it back in the cart, we're going to close the door, just in case, because sometimes you got to like mess with it and press the buttons to make sure, you know, it gets back to functioning order. So this is basically it. So now we can get into the car and start hooking things up. All right, so now that we're back in the car, make sure all the wiring is out of the way so you don't unintentionally damage something. So we have the auto top here. That's what this cable is. You won't have this. So I have to be a little bit extra careful, making sure I don't unintentionally pinch that for whatever reason. But we're gonna plug these in, and then how we took it out before, we wanna make sure we get over this tab and this tab without damaging it, right? So we have to go over one, go down, and then go over again, then go down, and then slowly fit it into place. Be very patient with it. Don't force it, because it should just slide in and find its spot, because most of the time when you put these in, a lot of people struggle is because of the wiring harness. It might get like caught and pinched somewhere. So you have to really mess with it until all the holes line up. So I'm gonna get started with plugging it in. Slowly insert it. Be careful not to hit the sides too much. You may damage the leather here because of the ends here. It's extremely difficult to do, so be very, very, very patient. And if you need to, use Scotch tape on the sides to try to better protect it as best as you can. So there you go. You see how it kind of took a little bit of effort, because I was trying to like shift the wiring harness in the back because it got caught, but it does pop in like that. There is a tab up here on the side to help you kind of guide to make sure, you know, the holes line up. But basically, you see how it sits in like this. You're gonna have those two new wiring harnesses that we have installed in the NAV 4.0. So now we're gonna bolt it back in. All right, so once those two 10s are in, we are gonna next put in the Phillips heads. Again, for tightening these, don't tighten them so much, otherwise they break. Like this one is broken and already missing a part from when I took it out. It was already missing, so who knows, it may have dried up over time due to age, but that's no problem. It still serves its purpose, because that metal bracket that goes over across the top is still usable, so it kind of holds it all up in place. So now we could keep going, right? But we want to test. We 100% want to test the NAV unit right before we put everything together. So we're going to stop here, and we're going to start wiring the camera, so then we can test everything before we put everything back together. So for wiring, we're basically, this one is not going to be a big deal. It's going to be kind of pretty much just right here anyway, so you don't really have to worry about all this jumble wire. This is for the backup camera. So this is the bundle wire that's going to be connected. You see the aux will be connected to this, and then this goes into the camera, and then this goes into the GPS unit in the trunk. So this is what we're going to be wiring all the way to the back, so that's why we ended up taking so much out. This bundle wire we're not going to worry about because it's going to be just plugged in right here. So I'll get started and show you that one. It's going to come with this wiring harness. So pretty much plug and play here. So now it's kind of up to you where you want to do wire placement for this. Obviously we want to make sure it's, you know, out of the way and such. So how I'm going to do it, I'm going to undo this, feed it underneath this bar that's right here, and basically rebundle it up way back here by the cup holder. Reason being is because this area is extremely cluttered when you have everything put in, so it'll make it really difficult to put the OEM radio back in. So leave some slack back there. Put this to the side for a second. We're going to plug in this harness. So this goes into the OEM harness, this beige kind of color that goes into the cigarette. So now we're splitting it, so we're going to be using this one. Hear the click. So then this would go back into right here, and then this would be plugged into right here, like that. Done. So then we kind of figure out placement. So this is going to sit basically right about right here ish. So if we want to, we can put all the wiring in this spot right here. So that's what I'm going to do to make it as clean as possible. So we're going to now bundle it back up like it was before. So again, leave some slack, because when you put the radio in, it's going to put pressure on the wire. So it'll, you know, leave some slack so you can have some room to push it out and around. It looks like I got caught in another wire. So now I'm basically good to go. Stuff it down here. Again, make sure you stuff it down so there's enough space for everything when you put everything back in. So it's going to look quite messy temporarily, so just try not to overwhelm yourself unintentionally, because there is a lot going on at the beginning. So now back to this. We're going to undo this. We're not going to use all the wiring, so keep the ties with you, because we want to make it look clean and not unintentionally get the wires pinched in places it shouldn't be pinched at. Cord, it's going to be this guy. Again, we want to go underneath all the other wiring to give us some slack just in case. So we're going to come out of the passenger side. Just going to plug it in here. Make sure you hear the click. Again, leave all the wiring as is. We're going to have to do our best to organize it in a second. So then, this wire right here that's going into the ashtray, that's not OEM, that's the throttle controller, so I am trying to work around that as well. If you have it, make sure you work around it. So I think I'm going to go underneath it. Now with this end, basically how I do it, I feed it along the side of this vinyl that meets with the carpet all the way to over here. So that's why we took off this panel that was right here to feed it across that to make it look nice and clean, and then into the back seat right here. So I'll show you how to do that. Perhaps I probably should have done this with the convertible halfway up to make it a little bit easier on myself, because I do not fit back here. But anyways, like I said before, we're going to feed through the passenger side. So I'm going to pay attention to here. I'm going to feed it. There's a hole right here that goes in between. Hopefully you can see that. I'm feeding it through here first. Now that I got the wire fed through, showing this is pretty difficult, but basically we're going to move this carpet out of the way, bend this out a little bit, just enough so we can fit the wire over the carpet and out through the vinyl so it comes out here, and then we'll line it up with the vinyl up across the side to the point until it sticks out over here like this cable is. This is for the trunk. So it's going to be similar, basically following that sort of. So we're gonna, now that I got the wire through, I'm basically tucking it underneath. You can see underneath, just underneath the vinyl. There's plenty of space for it. It's just, you know, trying to get it in is probably a little bit of a pain in the butt. But we want to make sure all the wires are hidden so it looks okay. So you see, basically got it all in. Just got a little bit wrapped. See, so now all the wires tucked in. And it looks like it's coming out from underneath here. So then, I barely fit back here, oh good God. We'll move all this out the way. We're gonna put the cover back on and have the wire lined up in here. So, like so. So make sure that when you do put the wire in here, if you want to, I'm going to make it look nice and pretty, that when you start torquing it down, that the wire doesn't get squeezed by this cover. So make sure it's not. So right now I have some slack, so that means it's not being pinched. So now we have the wiring nice and free in here. It's not doing any damage, you know, from putting this cover on. So now basically, if you remember from the uninstall, we took a little piece of foam out over here. So there's a little bit on this side, but it's right where the seat belt is. So I could literally just pull on it from this side. So, see, got some foam here. But that hole leads into the trunk. So it might be hard to see, but you'll see where my finger is pointing out. There's a little bolt there. That's actually an opening. So you can just feed the wires in there. So if you have a second person, it'd be nice because they can just be in the trunk and grab it. But since I'm alone, I'm just gonna try to shove as much as I can in there and then go in the trunk and slowly pull it out. So you might be able to see the wiring. It's in there. So try to see if you can grab it by hand and then pull it all the way out. Okay, so now that we got all the wire fed through for now, we're gonna plug in this guy into here. So there's only one cord we're gonna have to disconnect. So just that one big plug it into there. Right, so we can basically put this back in place appropriately. That, and then bolt it down, and then wire tap. So again, we're going to do testing first, so we're not going to line up all the wiring just yet. We're going to get started with this guy. These yellow tabs sticking up. We want to put them up all the way till the point they're vertical. To the side that doesn't have a wire in it, then we'll grab that red wire. So then basically we feed that wire into that hole, you clamp it down all the way, and then do a light pull test to make sure that it's in there nice and tight. So now then we plug in this guy into that camera, and then we do some testing. If you don't already have the Bluetooth mod, as you remember, the Bluetooth mod is required for the NAV 4.0. So if you don't have it, make sure to plug this guy in. So we're gonna get started plugging that in. So this is what the cable looks like. So this end is gonna go into the OEM harness. This one is going to go into the OEM radio. This one is going to connect to the Bluetooth mod. Feed this somewhere also, along with the microphone that comes with it. We're going to plug in the climate control. Again, I didn't bolt down the radio. Just going to leave it as is, just so we can do some testing. Everything's plugged in, including the ashtray. Leaving the heated seats because you're not going to worry about that. Camera's plugged in the back. And yeah, so let's plug this in, start the car, and let's see if it works. That pretty cool. So if you haven't seen my 3.5 version, this is what it's going to look like. To those existing customers that are going from 3.5 to 4.0, there is quite literally zero difference. So there's nothing going to be like super crazy different, besides if there's like, you know, the basic software update since 3.5. But obviously we can play around, make our adjustments, things like that to our, you know, best of our ability, make it as convenient as possible, things like that. We're not going to test this just because it's kind of messy right here, but this is how it's going to look. So we can try the backup camera. So put the car in reverse. And there you go. So the reason why it's black right now is just because I have the trunk closed, so obviously it's pitch black in there. So let me fix that real quick. Alright, so opened up the trunk, so now you should be able to see. Yep, so that's the trunk. Obviously we don't have the camera actually set up in its spot, but that's what it looks like. It's working. That's a good thing. So now we can basically shut the car off and basically put everything in. We're going to start by setting up the camera where we want it located, things like that. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to come back to this and clean this up later. All right, so now that we're in the trunk, we got to fix this mess, right? So basically what I'm going to do is going to unplug the camera, obviously, and I'm going to continue feeding the wire. I didn't bolt this back down yet because remember we did plug in this guy, you can see. I'm going to wrap it around this GPS unit, make it follow up behind here. So basically I'm going to feed the wire underneath this. Remember I had this taken out, and that was because to feed the wire, so that when I put the tab in here it holds that in place without pinching the wire, of course. It's going to feed it down this way, through over here. Gonna try to not wrap around this physically, but go around this. And then down in here into the hole, and that will lead us to outside. You can route it a different way if you want to, but I go this direction just because when you put everything back in the trunk, I don't want anything pinching the wire as hard, because obviously no matter what it's going to get pinched, right? Because it's, you know, a real tight squeeze with everything that's in the trunk, but it won't be as detrimental, and it wouldn't damage the wire. So. From here, we fed the wire underneath, right, that hole. So here it is. So to feed it on the sides of the bumper, there is some have a small opening. It looks like this one may not, but you could feed it pretty much anywhere you want. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit harder to like kind of, you know, feed the wire up over the frame, like not frame of the car, but there's a like a rebar frame, and then there's the styrofoam, and then you can feed it out. But sometimes you can even feed it out through the license plate light. I think I had a time where I had it fed through the very small opening here for the license plate bulb. So it's really up to you on how you want to put it here. So just make sure that's nothing's getting pinched too crazy. So basically, like I said, I fed the wire over and then I plugged it in. Yeah, I can pull it so you can see. It's a little bit harder to, you know, feed. So as you can see, I don't have the plate on it for obvious reasons. This is not my car, so obviously I won't show their license plate, but I'm deciding to feed it right here. So there will be a little bit of a pinch here when you put the plate back on and such. So keep that in mind. You could also, like I said before, you could drill a hole in here, big enough just to feed the wire in. I honestly would recommend doing that, just so you know it's a clear path and it looks clean. When you put the plate on, make sure that you put this on first and then the license plate over this black frame here. Don't put the black frame over the plate. Reason being, because at least in the state of Arizona, it is illegal to have the word Arizona covered up if you have a license plate frame. So like this, for example, you see how it has that bar over the top? If it covers the word Arizona, it is illegal. So make sure that this black piece is on first, and then you put the plate over this, and then, you know, make your adjustments how you want it, things like that. So pay attention, the orientation of the camera, see the angle it's at. You don't want to accidentally turn it upside down, but then once it's on here and you know, screw it on, you can bend this down or bend it up, or however, shift it left or right to, you know, straighten it up on the screen. So you can do that before, you know, putting everything back in the trunk. But for now, since I'm gonna adjust it later, and I know it worked because I tested it, I'm gonna put this back on with the license plate. Try to guess where's the center at, and then I'll show you how to put the trunk back in. Okay, so remember how we had all that slack here? So now we can basically pull it. Obviously don't pull it super hard, but pull it all the way until you get some tension. So now we know that we have all the wire. We're gonna put that rubber piece back in there. Remember how we had that cut? So that's for the wire again, so we don't pinch it. So put this back in. Like that. We're going to twist it again, just so you have enough wiring space. So now we have all this. So now we can feed it in here, tie it up where we need to tie it up, and then start putting the trunk back together.
ice and snow. Holding out your hand for me to go. Wasn't scared to see you, always knew it in my bones that something here was bound to take me home. You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a hard, cold goodnight. Baby, hang on to your ticket, you doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light.
This feeling beating in my chest. Don't want to say that I'm obsessed. Your body's left my mind on red. Forgive me, but I must confess.
Alright, so now that everything's put together, let me show you how to use it. So we're going to start the car up. You can see it already started doing its thing. As you can see, the tilt function's all good, the door is opening and things like that. Put this guy up. If you don't have, again, if you don't have the Bluetooth mod, and this is your first time putting in the Bluetooth mod and the nav, it's going to come with a CD. We're going to put that CD in. So let's turn this on. We'll lower it down. 0. We're going to press load to load a CD in. It should open up the CD changer. There you go. Slide that bad boy in there. Let it load. So now it's playing the CD. So this CD acts as a blank. So if you've ever had the Bluetooth transmitter that would connect to the cigarette lighter, you would hear the staticky noises. That basically is gonna always happen. But getting this CD is just a blank, so it's just gonna sit like this forever and it'll be quiet. So as you can see, if I turn the volume up, you don't hear anything. It's blank. So what you want to do, if you plan on using only Bluetooth and never go through the other CDs, see there's only one CD in here, so we're on one right now, but you can see the settings here. We're going to press 5 for repeat, and basically it's just going to cycle this CD over and over and over and over, and it's always going to be a blank. So you never have to deal with overlapping audio and things like that. Because if I play music on my phone through the Bluetooth mod, and let's say I want to listen to the radio, you're going to hear both audios. You're going to have to turn off the Bluetooth music on your phone and then continue listening with that. So due to copyright issues, I can't really play... Oh wait, yes I can, actually. Well, yeah, even with copyright issues, I can't really play too much of the radio, but I'll try to demonstrate that issue. Let's start by connecting to it to use the CarPlay, right? So I don't know how to do it on Android because I'm not an Android guy, but for iPhone users, you want to go to settings, go to your Bluetooth, scroll all the way to the bottom where it says other devices. You're going to see that, it might be hard to see on camera, but it's KG-998-1. I'm going to press that until it connects. If you have the volume, you might hear it, make a tune. So basically, we're connected to that currently, right? So where is it? Here it is. Okay, so now we're connected to the Bluetooth to play audio, but we want to use CarPlay so we have a display, because right now you can't see if I were to play something. So when you press CarPlay, there's the Bluetooth name with some instructions, so you can see it's right here. That matches on the screen. So press that as well. It may have a pairing thing, so press pair, allow. So now connect CarPlay, let it do its thing, and now we're connected. So see, you can see my text messages there and a bunch of other things, car scanner, things like that. So now you have CarPlay on here. So now, see, so I'm old school, so I don't really use CarPlay, or I'm not at least familiar with it. So I'm not really too tech savvy when it comes to this. But as you can see, so if I go on my phone and play music, right? So I'll do no copyright, so we can play audio. So again, since I'm playing here, you want to make sure the volume on your phone is maxed out. So that's the ringer. That's the wrong one. Make sure the audio is maxed out. So you see how it's not, you can't really hear anything going on right now? Well, maybe because it's not playing. But if you don't hear audio and you're on an iPhone, go to the top right corner of your phone, swipe down, and you're gonna see this, right? So then we're gonna go to the music. So press this. You're gonna see a button down here. When you press that, it'll show your Bluetooth devices, and you want to make sure you're connected to that KG-998-1. Otherwise, you won't hear audio coming out of the car, because that's the Bluetooth. And then the CarPlay is up here. So now you should be able to hear some audio. Okay, so I'm going to show you some possible outcomes. So you see how it says error 1 right here? These are basically, think of it as engine codes, but for specifically only the radio. So don't worry about it, as you can tell. I can still play audio, no problem. If you only have one CD, forget about it, it's fine. It's totally normal. If you have multiple and you want to cycle through it, the CD changer, you know, in here, because you can hold up to 6 CDs in here, it may get jammed. That's completely normal. Unfortunately, sometimes you just have to either deal with it or take the CD out by disassembling the entire radio, or in some cases you just got to reset it. If you look online, there's multiple ways to kind of try to reset the radio and hope that the motors on the inside and the gears, you know, move the CDs around appropriately so you can, you know, get this error to go away. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter to me, especially with this customer, only one CD, so it's gonna be fine. You're never gonna have to worry about it, and you never know, it might fix itself later down the road, which has happened to me as well. So no problem there. The overlapping audio. So let's say I want to go listen to the radio now. So we'll go to FM. It's gonna be hard to tell without getting copyright claimed that you'll hear audio from whatever channel you're on plus your phone. Make sure that if you're not trying to purposely listen to both the radio, another CD, whatever, and not the Bluetooth, make sure you pause it on your phone. So then you can continue doing whatever you want, and then once you want to go back to Bluetooth, right, we go back to disk. It's going to load the disk because it's a blank, right, and then you can press play, and then you're good to go. So you see, the error is gone now, because, you know, sometimes it just gets a little stuck. You just got to help it out. Sometimes mess around with it, you know, do the reset, key bind, button bind, whatever, you know, disconnect the battery, things like that. But yeah, that's how you do the Navigation Conversion Kit 4.0. A lot easier compared to the other versions. So this is a huge design update, and everything functions as is, of course. And we have our backup camera. So if I go into reverse, we have our backup camera. So again, you can make adjustments to it if you want. I'm gonna leave it as is and wait till the customer comes to pick up their car so they can, you know, figure out how they want it, if they want it lower, higher, whatever. But as you can see, we have the full tilt function, and then we have the open and close. Super cool stuff. So yeah, so that's how you complete a NAV 4.0 conversion kit with SC430 mods. Hopefully this video helped a lot of people, because I have had a lot of questions about it, but hopefully now it's understandable now with this video. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.